Welcome everyone! In this video, we are in the Great League, showcasing some more fun battles featuring Swampert! Swampert on a classic ABB style team featuring double ground in the back, and Swampert is ground type number 1 and will be serving as the closer on this ABB style team. Swampert is one of the most effective closers in the Open Great League, especially if you can give it a shield advantage, but you have to keep it away from grass types, and that is why we've got Diggersby on the safe swap. Diggersby is the perfect safe swap option for this type of team. You want to swap out into Diggersby on those neutral or losing leads to draw out any potential grass types that may be lurking in the back. And the beauty of Diggersby is it can fight back with Fire Punch. And also on this team, we've got Alolan Ninetales on the lead, running Powder Snow. Because there have been a lot of flyers on the lead as of late. And Alolan Ninetales handles them beautifully. And you want to have 2 ground types in the back behind A9 because they protect it from the poison types and, of course, the fire types. But before we dive into the featured set of the video, we are starting things off with some bonus battles that I thought were tons of fun and picking up a positive lead in the form of Noctowl. That's what I was talking about, guys. A lot of people leading with these flyers like Noctowl and Altaria. They tried to catch a weather ball onto their Walrein, but for their troubles, they're gonna catch this dazzling gleam, and they do tank that pretty well, but it does a sizable chunk to Walrein, and that can always prove to be quite beneficial. They are at the potential EQ. We will shield this, and the reason why we're staying in so much here is because we are resisting this fast move pressure, and Walrein can really go to work on our backline. So gonna bait here, we grab the shield, and now we're gonna look to catch, but no, they continue to farm, and that did not work out. But that is quite all right, guys, as Diggersby, I think, is up to the task here. Tanks super effective damage like it's nothing. That's the power of Diggersby. And they are at another one. Gonna tank this as well, not giving them a shield advantage. And gonna look to get off this Fire Punch here. If they want to expend both shields to preserve switch, by all means. But no, they let it go. And they hang on by a thread. Holy smokes. Walrein is insane. And they do, of course, come back in with the Noctowl. And we are just going to look to chip with a Fire Punch Noctowl. Quite bulky. Not going to do a whole lot, but every little bit helps. And we will not make... Oh, we do. I completely underestimated my own Diggersby. Holy smokes. We do make it. Diggersby is an animal, as they do farm down. Of course, we're going to come back in with A9 and look to deny them all of that energy. They are forced to make a tough decision. Do they shield or let it go? They shield, and now we have a shield advantage for our Swampert. That's the goal with this team, guys. If you can preserve a shield advantage for Swampert to bring it home for you, holy smokes, look out, because it is insanely powerful. But you guys probably already know that by now. And now it is Swampert time. We're not sure what else they have in the back. They catch it onto a Toxicroak. They can catch all they want, and Toxicroak is definitely not the Pokemon to catch moves on, but I suppose they see Noctowl as their win condition, but I don't think it's going to work out for them. We get to another Hydro Cannon, we say bye-bye to the Toxicroak, and we still have a shield, and this Noctowl is not going to make it to 2 Sky Attacks in time. I don't even think 1 would KO. But we have the shield, might as well use it, and we've got this Hydro Cannon locked and loaded for this pesky Noctowl. We get to it, and we say bye-bye to the Noctowl. Swampert doing what it does best, and that is close the game strong. That's going to be a good game. Well played. Swampert making it look easy in that previous battle. You'd love to see it, and here we go. You also love to see a lead like this. We got an Umbreon, but we're not running Charm, so it makes it a little bit more challenging, but not by much. As they make a play into a DD, we are going to catch a potential Thunderbolt or Rock Slide. Does not matter. They are both resisted. You'd love to see it. And now we are just going to play on from here. Not sure if they're going to look to fight hard for Switch. So we're just going to go for these Hydro Cannons. That, of course, is what you go for when you're dealing neutral damage. Hydro Cannon, such an amazing move. It might be due for a nerf. I'm not sure, guys. It is a little bit OP on Swampert, just saying. And we do shield up the first Psycho Boost. That, of course, is going to do the most damage. And they let that go. We intended to let the second one go, but they let it go and elect to take the shield advantage, and that is fine. They are now back in on this Umbreon here. Gonna let this go. Not sure if we would survive, but we do. Swampert is an absolute monster, guys. Holy smokes. Hangs on by a thread long enough to get off this nice chip damage on one of the bulkiest Pokemon around, and they tried to catch onto Nidoqueen. Not falling for that. And so now we're looking pretty good here, of course. This is why we've got Diggersby and Swampert in the back behind our Alolan Ninetales to protect it from these poison jabbers like Nidoqueen. Gonna bait here with a Fire Punch, and they let it go. Holy smokes. Was not expecting them to let that go. Nidoqueen is definitely where their win condition lies. They really need to hang on to this thing. So gonna bait again, and they let it go again. What are they doing? We are up against an absolute mad lad here. But we tank another Earth Power. No problem. Diggersby is about as tanky as it gets. But does it make sense to blow all this energy on an EQ? Just gonna go for another Fire Punch, and they finally let this Nidoqueen go, and we've got loaded energy for this Umbreon, guys. A lot of people would bait here. We baited a lot with Diggersby. We're not baiting with Ninetales, and we're nearly one-shotting one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the Great League. You'd love to see it as Alolan Ninetales closes the game in dominant fashion. That's going to be a good game. Well played. Sometimes it just pays to not bait and go for that big, super effective damage. You love to see it. And here we go. Jellicent lead, tricky lead for this team, especially with the fact that we're not running Charm on our A9. And go look to catch a Shadow Ball. I wasn't sure if we caught this, guys, because they threw another Hex, but we did! Holy smokes, you'd love to see. Catching that double resisted damage. It's a thing of beauty as they make a play into Altaria. That is not a thing of beauty. Having an Altaria on your Diggersby, it is quite miserable, guys. Altaria is probably the best answer to Diggersby if you're not running Hyper Beam, and we are not. So we are forced to just go for these Fire Punches. That is the way to go on Altaria. You could throw an EQ, but it's a massive waste of energy. It only does slightly more damage than a Fire Punch. That's the way to go on Altaria, but it is adding up. We've got it to nearly 50% health, going straight Fire Punch. And of course, we are going to let this go and look to come back in with our A9, but we hang on by a thread. I think they might have undercharged that. Not quite sure. I think it does more damage than that, but does not matter. Going for another Fire Punch, and they Dragon Breath down, of course. We've got loaded energy, so we are going to look to deny this Altaria its energy. Not looking to tank a Sky Attack here, and they let it go. Holy smokes. They might have underestimated the power of Alolan Ninetales. And now the Altaria is down with energy. And they come back in with the Jellicent here, so gonna look to get off some big damage with a Dazzling Gleam here. Jellicent definitely tanks this, no problem, but they shield. So not sure what they have in the back. We don't really want Swampert on this Jellicent, although we do have a shield advantage. Gonna shield up one of these Shadow Balls. They are absolutely loaded. They've been farming for days. And now we've got to let this one go. Doesn't quite KO, but it does a lot. So they tried to snipe us with their Vigoroth. Not letting that happen, guys. It's Swampert time. Gonna go for a Hydro Cannon here. And the play is to definitely tank a Body Slam and look to take out this Vigoroth here with the shield intact. So that's what we're going to do. Tank this Body Slam, and we do outpace to another Hydro Cannon. Going to force them to make a tough decision yet again. Do they want to go down on shields or let this go? They let it go. And now we've got to make the right play here, guys. We are getting super low. We absolutely have to shield this. It's lights out if we don't. I wasn't sure if they were running Bubble Beam, but it turns out they are. So yeah, we definitely go EQ here. They have to call a bait, and it does not work out for them as we say bye-bye to the Jellicent. Holy smokes. Swampert is an absolute savage in the Great League. You'd love to see it. That's going to be a good game. Well played. debuffed Swampert OP. One-shotting a Jellicent after tanking a Bubble Beam. You'd love to see it, and here we go. Medicham on the lead. We're not running Charm. I don't think they knew that as they make an aggressive play into Licky Tongue, so we are just going to load up on energy here and catch the Body Slam onto our Diggersby. Oh, you love it when it pays off. You make a nice catch on your tank of a Pokemon in the back in the form of Diggersby, and Diggersby is the right answer for a Licky Tongue, as we are double resisting this fast move pressure, and Licky Tongue does not hit particularly hard. We tank a super effective power whip, no problem, as we look to get off this big EQ, not expecting the shield, but they shield. Holy smokes. That was insane to see. No one ever shields their Licky Tongue, as it is about as tanky as it gets. Gonna go for another EQ here, and I'm thinking there's no way they double shield this thing, and they don't. They finally let that go, and I do believe we let this go. We definitely tank this, and they cannot farm down, but Fire Punch is not enough to KO, so we're forced to shield our Diggersby. We definitely don't want Medicham on our Swampert because those counters with stab from Medicham are just too much for Swampert to handle. So we have to throw this big EQ on this low health Licky Tongue, and they shield again. Holy smokes. They are fighting super hard for Switch. Not sure what they could have in the back. Nowadays, if they safe swap Licky Tongue, they've got a Charm A9 in the back, so it doesn't make sense for them to shield. But no, it's the classic version with Basti in the back. Oh my goodness. We are up against it here, but they have no shield, so we're going for this big EQ. I don't think that 2 Hydro Cannons would do it. I think we need EQ plus Hydro Cannon, and this is just an Ice Punch, so probably should have shielded this. As that Basti will not make it to a move before we can EQ it, and we are getting very low here. So we definitely didn't really need the shield for Basti, as it relies heavily on fast move pressure. We're saying bye-bye to the Medicham, and oh my goodness, it is up to Swampert to bring this hope for us. It's hanging on. Holy smokes, rank 8 Swampert comes in, clutches it, hangs on by a thread long enough to allow us to say bye-bye to the Bastiodon. Holy smokes. Low health Swampert OP closes the game in dominant fashion. That's going to be yet another good game. Well played. Had a blast with those bonus battles as we move into the featured set of the video. We are met with another Medicham. Not a big fan of these Medicham leads because we do take neutral damage from the counters, especially given that we're running Powder Snow and not Charm, but I don't think they knew that as they immediately swapped. Gonna chip this Diggersby and dip into our Swampert, and not really wanting to tank an EQ, so we will shield. There's no reason not to go for it, and they go for the Fire Punch. That is very annoying, and we definitely should not be going EQ here. Not sure what we're trying to do in this battle. Definitely should just go Hydro Cannon. It's definitely within Hydro Cannon range. Wasted a lot of energy there. And now we are forced to tank this EQ here. We don't want to give them a shield advantage. And not playing this mid-game matchup with this Diggersby particularly well. But we're going to send it packing with a Hydro Cannon. And we do leave the matchup with minimal farm. The Medicham does get a few too many counters, but that's okay. We can work with this. Alolan Ninetales definitely tanks a potential Psychic. No problem. So we're going to let this go. It is the Psychic, and they make an aggressive play into G-Fisk, and this is why we've got double ground behind our Ice Fairy, not only for the Poison Jabbers, but also for these overpowered Steel types like G-Fisk. We tank an EQ, no problem, and we're going to look to fire back with an EQ of our own. Not sure if they would shield this or not, but either way, it's doing a lot of damage. Holy smokes. And now we farm down. We definitely tank another EQ. That is the power of Diggersby. G-Fisk does not hit particularly hard. We tank that, no problem, and we're farming down. And we leave with loaded energy. Gonna put the pressure on this Medicham here with the threat of an EQ with stab, and they definitely tank it from this health range. It does a sizable chunk, and gonna look to put even more pressure on the Medicham with a Weather Ball. Does not KO, but it leaves it with enough health. Can we farm down? And we do. Holy smokes. A9 OP to close the game strong. You love to see it. That's gonna be a good game. Well played. This double ground team was really effective in the Great League. It was a thing of beauty. And here we go, Trevenant lead. This is actually positive lead when we're running Powder Snow. It is absolutely chunking. Trevenant, not known for its bulk. They did build up to the big Shadow Ball, but we're going to call this because Trevenant trainers love to bait. Does not work. You gotta go for that Shadow Ball on A9, and we're gonna go for a Weather Ball here. They can definitely tank it, but they shield. That is interesting to see as they make a play in the Lantern. We go into Diggersby here, could make a very solid argument that we go into Swampert, but either one works. You go EQ either way with either Pokemon. And we knew that they had already expended a shield on their Trevenant, so not likely that they shield their tanky Lantern here, and they don't. They let that go. That's beautiful. We tank another Surf, no problem. That's the power of Diggersby, as we know by now. And we farm down and leave this matchup with loaded energy. They can come back in with that Trevenant all they want. We've got Fire Punches for days for it, and they're thinking long and hard, but no, they come in with Frostlass. Works just the same. Both Pokemon take super effective damage from Fire Punch, and we're going for it. They definitely tank one. Gonna have a tough time tanking two. They do live it, but it gets them super low. So expecting a shield here. We grab the shield, and I don't think we make it to another one. That is fine. Diggersby put in the work. You love to see it. Swampert's here to tank damage. The win condition now lies with Alolan Ninetales here, so gonna soak this Avalanche. Does a lot of damage as they make a play back in the Trevenant. We had some energy, they have no shields, and we get to this Weather Ball, which means that we're saying bye-bye to the Trevenant. And now, A9 is primed to close this game strong. A9 says, Swampert, I know you're the closer, but you know what, buddy? I can close some games too. And that is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to shield this up, and we get to the Dazzling Gleam. Frostlass with no shields is a very, very sad Frostlass as we say bye-bye to the Frostlass. A9 can close a game just as well as Swampert, and that's going to be yet another good game. Well played. A9 putting in the work in that last one, closing it strong for us. You'd love to see it. What you don't love to see is this lead right here. Galarian Stunfisk, but we've got two amazing answers for the G-Fisk. That's why we've got two ground types, but they've got an amazing answer for our Diggersby in the form of Pelipper. So, not off to a great start. Hard countered on the lead, super hard countered on the swap. So, when they lead Stunfisk and they've got a Pelipper in the back, you can just about bet the house that there is a grass type in the back as well. Classically, it is Venusaur, and if that is the case, it's not looking too good for us, but we're not sure. We don't know. You never know what people are running, so we're going to play on from here. Not going to give up just yet. Going to go for this Fire Punch here after going for the EQ. You can do that with Pelipper because it's not nearly as bulky as Altaria. Like I said, EQ on the Flyers does slightly more damage, but it's a lost cause either way. That is not a flippable mid-game matchup, so we let it go. Gonna come in with A9, shield up the potential Hurricane. You definitely want to shield that as Pelipper hits like a truck. This is just a Weather Ball. Don't have to shield this at all, and we are going to look to absolutely load up on energy. We kind of need to. We need to load up on energy here. Fully expecting that G-Fisk in the back. Going to come in with Swampert, and it is a grass type. Not the one we were expecting, and it is over as we top left. Save everyone some time. That was probably the worst grass type to see in Meganium. The RPS phenomenon struck again. Good game, well played. Oh, there's nothing quite like getting a Mon for Mon hard counter. Oh my goodness, but here we go. Another positive lead in the form of Noctowl again, which is why we're running Powder Snow A9 for these Flyers on the lead. They make a play into Trevenant, and we've got the perfect answer to a Trevenant in the form of our Diggersby. The reason why is because, of course, we're a normal type, but we've got access to Fire Punch. And this is very, very comfortable for Diggersby, about as dominant as it gets. We tank 2 Seed Bombs, no problem, and they cannot farm down. They have to throw 3. And we know that. They are at the back-to-back. Gonna tank this again, and like I said, they cannot farm down at all. This is not doable for them. Gonna go for another Fire Punch here and try to put it out of its misery. But no, they're fighting the good fight. They shield that. I'm not sure if they know the matchup or not. They're going to CMP ties here, but all we have to do is shield this. They cannot farm us down. And we've got another Fire Punch locked and loaded for it. Do they want to go down 2 shields to try and flip this impossible matchup? They can if they want to, by all means, but no, they let it go. And now we leave this with minimal health for the Noctowl. And they do come back in with it. Gonna go for the Fire Punches, of course. They don't do a whole lot, as we saw in one of those previous battles, but they do add up. I don't think we make it to another one here. Yeah, no, we were a little too low. We don't quite make it, but that is fine. The damage has been done. We maintained alignment. And I do believe they caught this move here. I don't know. We did get it off. Yeah, we threw a proper timing there. We CMP tied them. And we definitely tanked these sky attacks. His Noctowl doesn't hit too hard. We tanked these pretty well. Alolan Ninetales, quite bulky. Has some very nice bulk, even in the Great League. It is quite nice. We tank that as they make an aggressive play into G-Fisk, and it is Swampert time, if I've ever seen it. We are in the 1 shield scenario, so that means we can go straight Hydro Cannon here. No problem whatsoever. And you know what? I'm thinking they're going to bait us here. We're going to make them pay for trying to bait us. We're tanking this, and that is absolutely demoralizing. Having Swampert, no shield, your Rock Slide when you G-Fisk. And they quickly top left after that. It was not going to happen. That's going to be a good game. Well played. As you can see, guys, this double ground team featuring Swampert was quite powerful. It was definitely putting in the work. Another Medicham lead. I don't like these Medicham leads, but that's okay. They safe swap Diggersby. That means that there's likely another normal type in the back. Generally, Noctowl, a team comp made famous by none other than good old Home Slice Henry, fellow content creator. So we are playing with that in mind. Gonna let this EQ go. We tanked that. Diggersby, not the hardest hitter, but definitely makes up for it in the bulk department for sure. So we will shield up the Fire Punch, although resisted would take us out. So gonna shield that, load up on energy, and look to take out the Diggersby here. We've got back-to-back. Do they want to waste the shield on this Diggersby? No, they let it go. That's okay. We leave this with minimal health and loaded energy for the Noctowl. The Noctowl that we were expecting, and they do come in with it. I'm not sure why they didn't come in to farm down with Medicham. I think that's the play, but that's okay. Gonna come in with Diggersby, actually. We're in a tough spot here. We don't want Diggersby on that Medicham. But Noctowl is not much better, but we do take super effective damage from the Medicham. And speaking of, we're one-shotting with a Dazzling Gleam, not messing around with this Medicham. As they let that go, they had 2 shields. All they had to do was shield that, and I think it was a good game for them, but they don't. I'm not messing around with these Medicham leads, guys. We're one-shotting, and we're closing it out in dominant fashion. What better way to close out the video than with a one-shot on the Medicham? That is the team, my friends. Good game. Well played to our opponent. And like I said, guys, as you saw, this A9 double ground team, super effective in the current Great League. Powder Snow on A9 is very nice on the lead, as a lot of people, as we saw in many of those battles, lead with these powerful, bulky flyers like Noctowl. That's a very, very popular one as of late. Not sure if someone featured a team on it or not. And of course, you always have good old Altaria on the lead as well. A9 handles them beautifully. And you got to support A9, though, with some powerful ground types. Something that resists poison and can handle fire and steel. And there are no better answers than Swampert and good old Diggersby. You pair those with A9 on the lead, and that's a recipe for a lot of wins in the Great League. But guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching, and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.